Well, don't ask, because you don't really want to know. But I guess I'm going to tell you. But first, welcome to another episode of Rusted Up Garage, where I once again have gotten out of control. Barely. You can barely tell. This all started, before I tell you the story, I'm going to remind you, okay, that 80% of you who are watching my videos still haven't subscribed. Please hit the subscribe. Even if you don't like my videos, just hit them anyway. We need subscribers, okay? Lots of them. We need lots of subscribers. So share this with like your friends, and it is hotter than, it's hot. Okay, I'm sweating making this video for you, so please subscribe. Even if you don't like my videos, just subscribe anyways. But now I'm going to tell you what we got going on here. So since this up here had been deleted on by the previous owner when he got rid of the brakes, and they put that pan in, this chunk of insulation was missing up on the firewall, which wasn't bad, okay? It wasn't bad. Then I deleted on all the heat on that side over there. So now that much of the insulation was gone on the firewall. So it basically left the middle, okay? So I'm thinking to myself, I should probably, do something about that. Well, on the same note, I bought a electrical kit because I was going to upgrade some of the wiring. And somehow I've removed all the wiring. I hope I don't need this. But anyways, we're just gonna leave that there for right now. So I ended up removing on everything in the front so I could put some mat in there. Well, I pulled the front rug out and it has this old horsehair fiber crap under it. And then as you can see from the back, I kept going and I removed everything. Well, that's because, this is it. This is all the insulation she has. Okay, that's it. And it's gonna have two big mufflers up underneath here. So I basically decided just to strip all the interior out of the floor. And now I'm just gonna scrape all this crap off and I'm gonna suck it all clean. And I'm gonna use this really cool product called Be Quiet. You heard me. Be Quiet. It's actually a company. It's the rolled matting. It's similar to Dynomat. You've probably heard of that before. It's very similar to that. This is a company that we've seen their products. It has really good reviews, and it is priced a lot better. So we will definitely put a link to the Be Quiet stuff, and we're going to be putting down the mat, which I'm going to get out of this hot car here in a minute, and I'll show you it. And then we're going to do the insulation on the firewall. And we're gonna put the original carpet back in and put the seats back in. So I know it looks crazy, but really it's not. I removed it and I'm gonna put it right back. Now, as far as this goes, I know we said we were going to air conditioning next, which air conditioning will be going in. It might even go in this video. Probably not, but it might. Okay. And we have a harness we bought from Ron Francis, and we're going to use parts of it to update this, because really 3/4 of this don't even get used anymore with the new system we have. So at this point, I'm just going to scrap on everything. We pulled the gauge cluster out. Don't ask me why the steering wheel's off, just it is, okay? You guys are just so hard on me. It's like Zach. But I guess what we need to do now is just basically get this thing cleaned up and get our new mat down. And I'm gonna thank myself this summer for doing this, spending the extra couple days and just doing this the right way. But we're gonna bring you along. We're gonna get the mat down, we'll get the insulation in. I might have to buy some more now that I've removed the whole floor. but there was just nothing there. There was like carpet here, nothing here. I mean, nothing. I mean, this is just nothing. And the heat, there's no pedals, there's no wiring.
You left the clock in it though.
It's for telling what time it is. It's time for me to stop taking this freaking car apart. That's what time it is. But I'm going to show you the product we're going to be using. So we give it a little shifting. Oh, God, Zach. Ugh. Whew. And
Turn the fans on.
we're going to turn the fans on and probably just do a little, you know, fast forward action or music, or you can just listen to the fans run. So here's the new wiring harness. As you can see, like everything else for this car, they don't make one. So this is a universal from Ron Francis. It's got this really nice updated box. It actually uses real fuses. It's got the flashers and stuff built in. And we think this is gonna be really nice in the car. This is the Be Quiet mat. You're right, Be Quiet mat. So it's sticky just like, you know, you've seen the other mats do. It just has a rubber stick down. It sticks really good. It's got the aluminum face. And then this is the firewall stuff, and I'm gonna end up buying some more for underneath the carpet. But same thing, it's aluminum. It's got sticky back. It's got your insulation for heat and sound. And this is way far superior than what was originally in the car. Come back here, Zach. Oh yeah, look, it's our air conditioning, which has been modified heavily to fit in an Oldsmobile because they don't make one for an Oldsmobile. So that might be a separate video because I really want Vintage Air to know that we've managed to get this kit for a 55 Chevy to work in a 55 Oldsmobile, despite the fact it shouldn't. But we did it. So this is the original carpet, and that's what was under it, basically. It's like, I don't know. It's disgusting. That's what it is. So I think I'm gonna peel that off. I'll get some new spray tack, and we'll spray tack this down to that other mat and get it all laid in there real nice. And we're gonna be so much happier come this summer when it is 800 degrees out. The mufflers are running up underneath the car and such. And while you're here, come on back. So you can see we've been working back here too. And battery relocation is coming back here. That's where it's gonna be. And can't tell you, but there's gonna be some secrets back here that I can't tell you about because it's our anti-theft system. But basically, you know, we're gonna mount on an anti-theft switch right in here, so we can flick it off. And you can't steal on this rig unless you get the trunk open. But don't tell nobody, it's a secret. Shh. No. But again, it is hotter than hot. And this shop we're baking. We're like cookies right now. We're being baked. So we're gonna fire our fans back up, and I apologize, but I'm gonna get the old Mouse Sucker 2000 out. We're gonna suck the whole floor up. I'm gonna scrape everything, clean everything, throw away all that, whatever that mat is, that's OEM. And we're gonna start putting down the Be Quiet! Sorry, I get excited when I get to say that. But good stuff. And I suggest, you know, maybe you should put some Be Quiet in your car. Okay, Zach, let's go. And be quiet. Hey, look, we're back. Sorry we didn't time lapse. We meant to, and well, we didn't, okay? But we still got a little more to go, but we ran out of material because I didn't buy enough material to do the whole car, because originally I weren't gonna do the whole car, but then I did do the whole car. So what we'll do is we'll be sure to show you the process when we finish up the back, because we haven't finished the back up yet, and we haven't finished putting this second layer on. So basically, this is Be Quiet's, what is this one called, Zach? The
Ultimate.
The ultimate, ultimate something. It's the ultimate.
It's the best one they sell.
It's the best one they sell, and it sticks down. It's guaranteed for like ever, like the life of the car. It'll be stuck down. It says watertight, made in the USA. USA. That's what makes this stuff so good. USA. Then we went back over it, and originally my plan was we were just going to do the firewall, and we were going to do this front section. That was my original plan when I bought this stuff. So now this stuff is a 1/2 inch thick. It has a foam in it, and it has some fibers, and it's super sticky, and it can actually be put on the outside of the firewall within 8 inches of your heat source. It obviously don't look as good on the outside, but you could technically put it out there. So this is their other product. I forgot what it's called.
H-liner.
The H-liner. Zach knows because he's been looking it up. So again, this is all Be Quiet stuff. Very, very happy with it. It lays out beautiful. I mean, this thing has some serious curves, and we did it in chunks, you know, kind of made the best moves for what we had. And then we got the whole firewall insulated. I really don't know what I'm doing. I got a lot of wires. I don't know where they go. A lot of electricals, digitals. I feel they connect to something. Not sure what that is. And I got all these wires ran. Terminator goes up underneath there, which is not installed, but it goes up in there. I just left it off right now because I was drilling holes and I didn't want to get some stuff in it. It's got the new fuse panel put in. Right there. That'll be where the fuses go. So we're updating the fuse panel. Well, I mean, I'm rewiring the whole freaking car. So I don't know how I managed to rewire the whole car. What?
I'm blocking the wind.
Oh, wind.
Even though we got the unibrow. Still.
The unibrow. Oh, I see, the old biggin. I got some unit hair going here. It's I've been up underneath the dash for a while, if you can't tell, basically by the way I am. But we have wired a lot. We've roughed in a bunch of stuff. Now I'm trying to get it all basically sorted, which takes a few minutes of thought. You can't just jump in and heave wires in the car, because you got to figure out where you're going to put it all. It's got to be nice and neat. You want it to look as good as you can make it, but none of this is designed for none of this. So I am a little tired. Apologize. Probably not as lively as I normally am. But the old brain's been just a thumping in here. Not like headache thumping, just trying to wrap my fingers around all these wires here and there and out in the trunk, out in the head and trunk, and just trying to get it all to just, you know, work. It's kind of what I'm after. So I'm getting better. We have ran all the battery stuff, and I got power in here. And now I'm running it across over to here. So I got a pretty good idea what we got to do. I just have to get it done now. We did get the light switch back in. Now what's cool about this is basically we should have recorded this, but I completely modified this switch right here. So it's a modern switch, but I kept all the outside, so we had to do some work in here, and I had to do some work to get all the original knob to work, but this is all in, so now we can use, you know, basically a modern switch with all new parts and have it look old. So that's been our whole thing, has been trying to convert. Honestly, converting stuff has been killing us.
We're probably need a monster.
You might be onto something. I'll be back soon.
I think I might need a Red Bull too. Where's mine? I said I needed a Red Bull.
Oh, sorry. So tired, I didn't even know. Have you ever had the Pipeline Punch? This is hands down the best monster out there. It's my favorite. If you guys want to send me cases of it, you can. Keep me awake. My P.O. box is located somewhere on this page.
It's in the About Us section of the channel.
Yeah. This may work. This may bring me right back around. But we've been working real hard. trying to get this car together. We only have a few weeks to go. Still no word on the engine. I feel that's going to be our holder-upper. We have a plan B.
And a plan C.
And a plan C. Plan B is a lot of work too. Not as much as plan C. Plan C is pretty easy. But really, plan A and plan B are almost at the same spot right now. Well, no, not really. Plan B has wiring in it, for the most part.
And an engine that's lined up for it.
Yeah, and an engine that's lined up for it. But let's just hope we can get this done. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay. What I'm currently working on is the Select-O-Matic. It lets me know, or lets you know, if you're following me, that I'm turning left or I'm turning right. Now, this was a chunk of wiring I was saving in the car, which was basically the only piece. And this part right here ran down the steering column. And I was saving this half and was going to put a connector on it. Well, the problem is this thing is really old and really brittle, which is the same issue we had with all the rest of the wiring in this car, is the reason why we are actually changing out the wiring in the car. It is super brittle. So I tried to fix it up to the column with some heat shrinks in, but it is so bad that you just touch it and it breaks the case. So we have like 2 or 3 opens, which you can't really see here, but that's right where it comes through the shaft. So this is going to become a bigger problem because it is literally just breaks apart. So they didn't really make this piece. So I took the whole Select-O-Matic part, and this was crimped on to these pins right here. Well, you can't uncrimp them. So I left a little piece of wire, and what I'm doing is I'm actually soldering new wire to that old chunk of wire. That's what I'm attempting to do anyways. And I'm going to try to do all 6 of them, and then I'll relay them out and then run them back down the harness. So I'm going to sit here and just solder these for a minute, try to get all 6 of them done, see if I can get them to lay back down, and go back in the old blink, 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 blink O-Matic, and we should be good. It's just, again, one of them unforeseens that I didn't expect. But again, I should have expected it. The rest of the wire in the car was super brittle. So we're just gonna work on fixing it. That's what we're gonna do. Now you can see here's the Turn-O-Matic selector, and all the new wires are soldered on just like this. So I'm going to assemble it and See how that goes. So here's the Selectomatic. So there's the little, you know, basically when you give her the old click, 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 or click, 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 it's moving these little guys right here onto these little pads and then sending the power down these wires. So. It's actually in really good shape inside. It was just the wire. That was the problem. Okay, we're back. Zach wanted me to show you how to make up these connectors, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to show you how to make up these connectors. So, what we have is the wires, and they give you these little green connectors. And then you got these, you got male and female of these. We're going to use the female version, because the females go into this one, this end here. Okay? So, these will end up going onto here, like this, with the wire. And then the green connector kind of goes like this, at the end of where you stripped it. And you squeeze them together like this. And then you grab your little tooly thing here, right? And you put that right there. And you get the front one. How did I miss the front one? I just did. Okay, that's better. And then you can't really see it though. But it basically, this tool crimps these down like they're supposed to be, and then these will actually slide into here, and then we're going to make a connector. So I'm going to do this to all these, and then I'm going to slide it down. I can't put this on so it won't go down the column, but I can get all these on and then slide it down the column and then punch them in, and they are good to go. 2 bumps is what he tells me. 2 bumps. Well, good evening, and I gotta talk loud because we got one small fan going and we shut all the rest of them off, and it is warm this evening. Well, whenever, okay, you may be watching this in the morning, but this is being recorded in the evening. You know, some of us have to work. So, what I want to do is kind of go over what we've done, because we didn't record a lot of this, or we didn't include it in this video, because our last video was like an hour and 86 minutes and 34 days long. But I think that video was well worth it. But what we're going to talk about now is the electrical digitals, okay? Electrical digitals in this thing, it's turned out to be a beast. I do want to shout out to Ron Francis Wiring. We used their kit for this unit, and it started out with we were going to replace the fuse panel so we could get, you know, modern fuses. That's where I started. In typical Ricky fashion, I guarantee you longtime followers know what's going on here. I ended up removing all the wiring because it was hard and crunchy, like you saw in the earlier video where the steering column, where I was showing you guys where it was all brittle. So it needed to happen. Well, when we started putting that in, it wasn't too bad. But then, you know me, I had the bright idea, let's make this thing fuel injected. Do you know how much wiring is involved with adding a Terminator from Holley? Hey, I've done an install for what was the one we put on your car?
Sniper.
A Sniper, okay? The Sniper was like 3 wires and then a little gauge wire. It was Snipers, nothing to it. I mean, really. I mean, the Sniper, it's easy is what I'm trying to say. So if you're just wanting basic easy, Sniper's way to go. But no, not me. No. I want the Terminator. Well, for one, I need to be able to shift the transmission because we're putting a, 4L60E in it. So I needed to go that route anyways. Plus, I didn't want that look. I wanted mine to look like a carburetor. So again, that's just what we had to do. There's a lot of freaking wiring that goes along with that. And we had to repin the looms because we didn't use some stuff. We had to add some stuff. We rewrapped the entire looms because we put the Terminator box in here, which we're going to show you all this. Ooh, big truck. Hold on. Shifting gears. Okay, we're good now. Since we rerouted everything to here except for the trunk, the wiring needed to be modified, along with the Vintage Air wiring also needed to be modified because a lot of that was meant to be put out there in the engine compartment, but we're trying to keep that as clean as possible. We want it to look, stock. So, 4 terminal blocks later, 10 relays, a bunch of fuses, 3 miles of wire, we basically got it all installed. Now, it's not quite finished. I have this wire here. This is for the speedometer. And then I have these wires here, which are really Zach's wires. They're for the gauge panel, which we're going to show you that later on. I'm not quite ready to show you that goodness yet. But
that's like
last thing. That's last, but you'll be pretty impressed with what we got going on there. Now, I did get the old Bob Dylan back in, and problem is I didn't realize that, when you start, we put one speaker in here where it's stock, and I'm going to add a couple more hidden. But when you buy speakers and stuff now, they don't supply the Bob Dylan wire. How are you supposed to get from there to there? I didn't have it. So, that's sitting here. I haven't finished wiring that yet, but it's close, okay? And then you have this pile here, which is for the cluster, which, again, I wasn't going to rewire the cluster. I was going to use the existing stuff, but as you can tell, I've basically rewired the cluster. Now, there are a couple things that are not going to work on the cluster. For one, the old amps. It does 30 amps. So there's really no point in putting that in because we're not running 30 amps. We're going to be running a whole lot more than that. So it's just going to keep the gauge pinned, and it's just not. We're just not going to hook it up. Maybe at some point we can figure out how to do something with it so it's cool, but for now, not hooked up. The temperature gauge, we're running the wire for that, but I'm not sure how that's going to hook up just yet, only because I have to run a temperature gauge for the Holley, and I'm not sure how I'm going to get the 2 sensors to work yet. But I'm running the wire for it, which is right here. I'm going to save it, and we'll probably put that in later. And everything else gets hooked up. So that's all the directionals and all the, you saw us building all that out. So directionals, and then what gear selector we're in, etc., and all that good stuff here. So we got that. We got a little bit more wiring underneath. This is for the stop switch, which I got to modify. That's for when you lay the brakes out on it. People can tell from behind. But that's wired. I just got to build a bracket for it. And then this is for the Vintage Air, which I got to modify the controls. Now this is kind of cool because we have literally modified all the original controls to work with new switches. So if you look up here, the original key switch, stock. The original, I need a cigarette, which is actually pretty well brand new. That's stock. The light switch, it looks stock from here. It's not. I modified all of these parts in here to work with the Ron Francis new switch. The wiper switch, we went, you know, from the old vacuum activated that didn't work to electronic. So I actually modified all this part of the switch a little bit with a grinder and stuff, and now you can just, you know, on, off. Look at that. Ain't that nuts? That's snazzy. So we modified all that. My next big modification is the slide handles. I have something kind of cool for that. Hopefully we can get that on this video. Hopefully I can get that done. Maybe, I don't know if it'll be tonight, tomorrow night. It might be last minute on that one. But I gotta finish that up. And all like the original stuff, it'll look, you know, pretty well stock Ola in here. It's kind of what I've been going for. Actually, it will look stock. All this stuff's just gonna look like it's supposed to be there. Now again, we ran a ton of wiring. As you can see over here, this is where our bulkhead of the main wiring comes in for all the powers and everything going to the back. Right here, we did power bulkheads here. And then up underneath here, here's the Ron Francis fuse panel, which came out phenomenal. I gotta put the little clips on it that covers up this stuff. But we're not quite done. I gotta wire a couple more things into it. But so this is the modern switches. Everything's labeled. You got the relays, the horns, and then the harness. Here's the three big lugs that we put in. Actually, and I forgot it. We got a breaker in there too. And then here's the Terminator box right here with the plugs for the Terminator. You can see the lights if we need to see those. And then you have the Vintage Air box, which again, we talked about the Vintage Air, and that started out as a 55 to 57 kit. And then if you go back and look at our kit, look at like the first Vintage Air video we did, somebody actually commented and actually put all the parts to what I actually ordered to make this one work. So that's all pretty good. It's just a lot of work to get all this to fit right. It's so tight. You know, I mean, we put in 10 times more wiring what this car ever had, and the idea is to make it look as clean as stock as possible. So that's pretty much it. Now everything works. We've tested everything so far. So we're gonna bring you around. I'm gonna be putting the gauge cluster in here in a little bit and plugging all that in. Maybe Zach can record that part. And but I want to take you outside of the car and kind of show you what we got outside. Okay. This hasn't been finished up yet. It's getting closer. We have to finish wrapping up some wiring here. But so here's all the wiring coming in. Now this all gets tucked in on these clips. That's what these are for. These will all get tucked in on these clips and run in. We've replaced all the harnesses with weather pack connectors. And again, this is our main shutoff for the battery. All this stuff will cover back over. You will see this, but all the rest of this will cover over. You know, it'll be really clean. Basically, your Hobby. I said basically. Look at me, basically. I gotta stop saying basically. Wow, lost my train of thought. We have two more relays that need to go back here. One is for the fuelage pump, and one is for the transmission fan, which that's going up underneath the back end of the car. So the rear is all wired, lights are all working, everything's been tagged out. So the back's clean, Zach did all that. So now the front, it's closer. We're not quite done the wiring in the front yet, but once this is all, I haven't clipped it all in yet. All this stuff will get clipped in nice and clean like this. I actually ran out of clips. I had to order more from Motion this morning. Hopefully I ordered enough. I forgot I hadn't clipped all this too. But I know where they sell more. So that's the headlights. And we ended up rewiring all the headlights, all the markers. And you can see we got the new Holley headlights in. These are the new LED retros that they sell. They're really new. They just came out. And then the main harness will all tuck in here once I finish clipping it in. All the rest of the wiring is actually in that back corner. You can't really see much of it, but once that's dressed in, the idea is you don't see it. But it's all wrapped and clean. Again, we just have to finish zip tying everything in. This is all the Holley stuff here. So this will actually plug in for the Holley and our sensors, and then the sensors and fuel regulator over there. We got the MSD installed. That's the new wiper motor. That's electronic compared to the old one, which was vacuum operated. And then the transmission shift cables, that's the one on the floor down there. So we have, it's wired. It's probably 90+% wired now. It's just all the little tie-ins and hookups and stuff like that. These are the original, I don't even know what that is.
That's the old wiper.
Oh, that's the old wiper thing. I gotta
For the manual pumper washer.
That's right. I do have a bunch of parts that are stock, 55 stuff. So if someone's like doing classic restoring and stuff, I have a lot of these parts now. I'm saving them in a box. So maybe someone will get some use out of them someday. But we definitely didn't want to use, stupid, ugly looking switch stuff like this and all that crap. These are the pots. These are the ones that came with a kit. I actually bought these, which are, that's the cable number here. So these are actually slides, is what these are. So they're pot slides like this, and the wiring hooks into them right here. So here is the, here's the one we're actually going to modify, because it's got the fan high and low. I am going to use a pot switch for this. So I think we figured out this was going to work. I just have to do some drilling for this to get to work. And then we're going to be able to use the original knob. And I don't remember how we said we were going to do that, but I remember we said we were going to.
Yes.
I think with some grinding.
Yes, like every other switch we've put in this car.
Yeah, so I'm going to basically grind all this down so it fits within that hole, and then screw that on. So then it'll have the original on it, okay? And then here's the original shifting levers right here for heat and defrost. So what's cool is they're cables, right? So they pull in and out, so let's not utilize that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually take these pots right here, and we are going to zip them on the cables, probably right about in here where they go up underneath the dash, and cut it, and then we're gonna actually hook the cable up to here. So now when you pull and release the cable, one will be for heat, so basically it'll be for, cold to hot, hot, cold, and then it'll be like defrost, vent, floor. So it'll all be on one. And then this one right here that was on the other side, which was the vents, which is air, left and right air, where they just open up the old trap doors. We're just gonna cut these off and just leave them in there for looks, because them boxes are gone. So, but that's a little trick we're gonna do here. So that's gonna go here, and that's how we're gonna convert all this. Because again, Vintage Air makes nothing for a 55 Oldsmobile, nothing. You gotta modify a full kit. And I think we've done a very good job getting it in here with that front plate you saw us do on Arts and Crafts night, and then getting the rest of this vintage to work. So when I actually build these out and get these sliding, I'll have Zach come in and do me a little video on that. Okay, let's see if we can get this whole unit in like it was. Probably not, just saying. Probably not. Well, there, back in. Now we can put the trim ring back on this, put the knobs in. This thing's starting to really look like a car again, Zach.
Kind of.
It's really coming into her. But yeah, that's simple. Now we just gotta go up underneath and dress up them wires and clean that up and hook the ground. So I told you that I would go over how we were going to get the controls to work for the Vintage Air. Because, again, Vintage Air don't make nothing for Oldsmobile that'll work in this application. So, this is the original heat control for an Oldsmobile. So you have the fan switch, and you have your heat and your defrost. And how they worked, or how they before, is they worked on big long cables. These cables were 3-4 feet long. They went all the way across the car, and they slid the boxes on and off for heat or cool or vent or defrost. And then there's one on the on the right side that was just vents, and it opened the flap doors for the vents. So we don't need that one. I actually just cut those back, and they're just there for looks. But basically what I've been doing is making all of the original switches or knobs work for everything on the car. So if you just glanced in, it appeared as correct, relatively correct. Most people won't notice. So what I did was, this is actually the this comes with the kit for the 55 Chevy. These slides, actually, I got these as an extra piece, which I showed earlier, the slider number. And actually, I think these actually came on Amazon, but they're from Vintage Air. And what I did was I cut the cables back, and I basically made I did make a twirl here with a bolt that goes through. It's loose on this slider. The slider's really long. So now, when I pull out for heat, it pulls the slider all the way in. So that'll be for hot, that'll be for cold. Hot, cold. And then on this side, where it says defrost, you pull it out, it'll be defrost. You push it halfway through, like that, and it should be like floor or vent, and then all the way in would be air conditioning. And then with modifying this part, I had to grind the shaft to get it to fit, but it did fit on there, and I was able to screw it on. So now I have high and low on my fan, on the existing high and low of the thing. Now the only thing I did do, I know this is sacramental, I hate to even tell you, but you know, I'm being honest. The original switch was a lot longer. The shaft was bigger and went through and actually bolted through the dash and helped actually hold this to the dash, but there's really, these will hold it just fine. I had to make this hole bigger because I had to bolt this in here. It just wasn't long enough. I tried everything not to do it, but I had to cut this hole a little bit bigger. Now you can't tell because once this is bolted up in there, you don't know. That covers it all. This covers the hole, but I'm just telling you, I had to make the hole just a little bit bigger to get that just to pop in there and work correctly. So, but other than that, I mean, this thing's perfect. It's nice and smooth. I can program the Vintage Air for what I want it to do, and it'll look completely factory, but with Vintage Air. So I think the little oversized hole here was a small price to pay to not have to put them stupid, ugly looking knobs like this crap, or you know, these knobs in your car on a dial thing. You know, I think it's you know, well worth it to do that. So that's how that works. Pretty nifty, huh, Zach? Yeah. I guess I'm gonna go throw this sucker in there, and then we are about done with this part. So green is technically this one. That one's green. And then mode,
which would be the defrost selector,
is yellow. So that was this one right here. Yellow. And then temperature is red. 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 And I don't really know which way this one goes. Probably this way, because they're all been backwards of what I thought they should be.
Probably only goes on one way. It should lock in.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I need to find it. So it does go like that. Okay. And then the one that we're not using is, I guess, white. Yeah, it's white. We're not using that one because we're not using a 3-button control.
No, a 4.
A 4, I'm sorry. That'll get zip tied up there. Now this is going to go up in here like this. like this. Now I got a lamp underneath. You can't be here.
Well, that's not very nice.
Sorry.
Tell them they can't be here.
I apologize. Okay, now for the fun part.
Bolting this unit in.
I need one of them nuts. Just like that. See? There's the controls for the heat. Nifty neat. You can't even see this, can you? And then like I said, these are just in here, so they're not doing nothing, they're just in there. Oh, let me get back up.
Now you just need to be able to bring the thunder.
Huh?
So now you just need to be able to bring the thunder.
I do. We need to be able to bring the thunder. But yeah, that looks factory. No one will even know the difference. Like I said, now everything is just like it should. We got the dash all back together. So I just have to finish the little trim plate for the radio, put the ashtrays back in, and then dress out the glove box. But I'll leave that open, the glove box, until I can get all the ductwork ran for the air conditioning. Here we are, in the back of the car. Don't laugh, Zach. It's funny. We're gonna finish installing all the... Be quiet! Again, love this stuff, and it's very good stuff. I mean, this stuff is very good. I can't say enough about it. Very affordable compared to its like predecessor. Goes down easy. You just kind of, cut on it with some scissors or a knife. Like I said, I saw this on the Boss Garage. You ever seen his show? He does some really cool stuff, but he swears by this stuff, and that's when we first saw it and figured, hey, we'll give it a try.
If you haven't watched this stuff, you just need to.
Yeah, the Boss Garage is, the stuff he builds, it's phenomenal. It's amazing, the stuff he builds. So I'm just kind of getting a little plan here of attack for this one. That's pretty close, I feel. Now it is pretty sticky, so
It's very sticky.
no doubt about that. It's got all the stick. And you kind of just start it in like that. Now you can actually use a heat gun if you want to help mold on it. Now we're not going to,
Because we aren't.
basically because we're not going to. We've had good luck. We had good luck rolling it all earlier, so. But you just pretty much just stick it down. It's like right here. I probably need to give this a little slice of roux right here, like that. And then it's just going to overlap to here. And again, we don't have to cover every square inch. Really, I probably didn't have to do this. This is up behind the seats anyways. But
Now you just take that roller. Which, to be honest, isn't really the nicest.
now you might want to,
Upgrade on the roller. But it works.
I mean, you do it by, you got to buy it separate anyway, so just separately buy one somewhere else. This is for heat and sound. More sound for this stuff. More deadening from under the car. But it does do a little heat. The mat we put over top of this is for heat. in. Looking good. Because you basically remember what was here before.
It resembled a burlap bag.
It was pretty much, nothing.
Didn't think a lot of this car was made with burlap bags. They used it for a lot of insulation stuff and isolating things. This should make the world a difference.
Yeah, and I have a little extra. So I just figured I'd kind of doing the wheel well here a little bit.
That'll just stop the rock noise.
A little bit. Should help. And really just a little bit of this mat to help stop the ting is all it needs. We're just trying to stop a little bit of the noise. Ain't that right, Zach?
Yes. So as you can hear, just by throwing the things around, it's dead in here.
You can get rolls and you just cut it with some scissors or a knife. I'm not too scientific. I just want to cover it up. So it'll be a whole lot quieter in this car on down the road. Ain't that right, Zach?
Sure. Pulling it up from down here. I'm gonna finish putting this in so you can put the sill plates back in.
Should probably prime on them tomorrow.
Probably.
I should probably prime them before we put them in, huh?
Yeah, at least halfway clean them out. That'd be nice. You're supposed to stick your roller to the thing. Makes it nice and sticky for when you got a roll on it.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna whiz this one. Just gonna go with it. I pretty much know where it needs to go.
You really worked this front stuff in though.
Yeah, the laying on it, it's really been worked. Doing all the electrical digitals.
You can see everything you laid on. All the trimmings, all the tools, everything. all compressed into the thing, into the mat.
And they were just really giving her the ketchup. I don't know if you could hear them going by, but they were serious about giving her the ketchup.
It's getting a whole lot brighter in here now.
This stuff guarantees to be stuck down to your car
For the life of the vehicle.
for the life of the vehicle. Oh,
Not supposed to blow the screw out.
I was getting a little aggressive. Let me tighten this up real quick.
And you're not supposed to stab yourself with the screwdriver either.
You're not?
No.
She weren't cutting the paper very good on the backside.
Nope.
I think my knife's getting dull.
Yep.
That's okay. I'm almost done.
Yep. Be nice. Have all this done.
Yep, there's an interior can go back down. We got to clean on the rugs, but
You're basically doing this because you just want to drive the car and you want it to be enjoyable.
yeah. And really, it's not that expensive either. I mean, at the end of the day, it's definitely worth it. Got that piece right there. Don't worry, a little heat and this stuff won't. Even if I don't get completely pushed, once all the stuff goes in and stuff.
You do want to make sure you roll it though.
Yeah, you do want to roll it. Okay, there's not much left of that. But that looks pretty freaking good. So give me a few minutes and we'll move on to round 2 of the insulation pack. It is extremely humid tonight. We're having to cut the fans on. So this is the other product that we're talking about from Be Quiet. It comes in sheets like this. It comes sticky back. And this is for heat and more sound. So it's real simple to install. I measured out these pieces already with a permanent marker. So I'm just gonna cut. Now I will say this stuff is a little bit more money than just the mat, just the, you know, that you would think of as just dead mat. But the insulation on the bottom of the rugs on this car, because they are original, are really rough, and it's just not, they're not good, okay? So this is ultimately going to replace the rugs. We're gonna, I mean not the rugs, I'm sorry, the pad. So we're gonna remove on the pad of the old carpet, and then I'm gonna stick it down to this. This piece ain't in there, it's just cut. Oh, and this stuff is real sticky too. Just saying. I will say getting this one going is a little bit tricky sometimes because the paper wants to rip. But once you get started, I just remove on it and kind of keep it up. Leave on that, and then we're gonna have to cut this up through here like this and push that in, and then when this comes in, we're gonna cut off this corner right here, and just gonna stick it down just like so. Now the back seat goes in right here, so I'm not going to worry about going over the seat with this one back here. I don't think. There's a couple scraps, I may just scrap them in the middle, but that's pretty much how that goes in. I'll go put one on, I'll go do the other side. I might not make the middle. We'll see how that works. I kind of guessed on that, but it's nice that I can cut strips and just stick them down. I mean, I'm excited to drive this car because I mean, the road noise, the drivability is all. This car is going to be so much different. Than what it was when I first got it. Okay, we're real close, Zach. Come on, don't be sticking just yet. You just wait. You wait. And now I'll just come back. I'm gonna cut me a strip in right here. And no problems.
See, they can let me have some of it. And this goes way over here.
Start at the top.
Where is it supposed to be along?
About just a little bit down from here.
Kind of like that?
Does Sea-Lite cover all this area? Yeah, they do, don't it? Huh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So there, that's not bad. Now, was this piece necessary back here? No, not at all. But I figured all that was separating the back seat from the trunk was a piece of cardboard between the two. So I thought for heat and stuff, it would help. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt. So that's why I went ahead and did that. So, I don't know where these go. We wired the entire car, and I have all this left. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with it. But I was thinking about just hide it in a box somewhere and hope we didn't need it. But there's a lot of pieces here. I don't know, I hope it's right. Well, now, as you can see, we've gotten a lot done since the beginning of this video. I believe the beginning of the video I was pretty much sitting in the same spot. It was a kind of a dirty old floor with a heap of old wiring and missing a lot of digicals. And it was a mess. But glad to say that on the end of the video, we're looking pretty good. We got all of our Be Quiet sound deadening on, and then we got our Be Quiet mat on for heat. We got the whole firewall tucked and finished. We got the vintage air all in, and you guys saw how we did a bunch of that in here. Now I do got to deal with the ducts, which I will here pretty soon. You guys will see the ducts. Probably will be doing that. The next video we'll be probably putting the interior back in it, and you know, maybe the Drive-O-Matic, maybe the pedals. Those would be handy to have. And kind of dressing out the inside, getting the inside wrapped up. Because really, besides getting the motor dropped in it, it's really close now. You guys have been along for this whole process. So again, the Be Quiet stuff, excellent product. Definitely, I'd look into it for sure. The vintage air just, you know, goes without exception. Now, one thing you guys probably hadn't seen is the Ron Francis, you know, electrical panel. But you can see how clean that all came out. This is for the brake switch once that gets done, but I mean, it's just clean. It looks good, and once all the little covers are on, it'll look professional. So that's all done. All the wiring's tucked down through. Everything's stubbed and finished out on each end for the most part, minus just a few little clips. And I mean, everything's buttoned up. Everything works. We've tested everything so far. I mean, all the heater controls work like they're supposed to. You know, just like stock. I mean, just everything. You know, it just starts up. No, it don't. I guess I should probably remove on the Bring the Thunder because it don't seem to be bringing any thunder currently, but it will. Trying to think what else there is on this one, Zach. I mean, big excitement. We're over 100 people now. Thank you all for starting to subscribe. Keep subscribing, keep sharing. We have a couple more obviously videos for this car, like when we finished putting the motor together and assembled, and a few other things. But we have some other cool projects coming, so you're definitely going to be tuning in. We got to do a little more work to my truck. I got some parts for that. Well, as soon as I can get it on the lift, which will probably be maybe next week, we might roll this out and get my truck on the lift. And we got a few other things. So I want to thank you all for subscribing. Keep watching. We're going to be doing some really cool stuff on this channel. And it's a big shout out to the people we got the stuff from. The products we're using is amazing. We couldn't be happier with how it's coming out. And we hope you guys are enjoying the journey. Don't forget, we have merch, rustedupgarage.com. We have shirts. I mean, we'll call that merch. And we'll be having some other stuff coming soon. We're just not quite there yet. And I think that's it. So stay tuned for the next video. We'll be doing interior stuff. Enjoy your week. Till next time, peace out.